Lynn, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Holchansky?
Here.
Mrs. Vanderwater?
Here.
Ms. Lesniak? Mr. Tupper?
Here.
Mr. Dudzinski?
Here.
Ms. Saban?
Here. First, get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 6th, please.
Make it. I'll second.
I have some corrections. Should have gotten these to you, Lynn, earlier, I'm sorry. Second paragraph, for the local law B, recess was spelled incorrectly. And then on the second page, when we were in the public hearing for the solar moratorium, after it says Ms. Lesniak asked if there was anyone to speak in favor of this local law, I think we should add no one spoke because no one did speak. Where are you? Second page, under the solar moratorium public hearing. I thought that's the one James spoke to.
Yeah, we did have somebody speak up
Yeah.
in favor of.
Okay. Sorry about that. On page 5, two things I just want to kind of throw out there. The first one was the approved contract for Barton and Judas. I think it should be noted that that item was not budgeted, as well as the second one for the approval of the contract with public sector HR. Again, that expense was not budgeted, and I think it should be noted that those weren't.
Well, Barton and Judas actually is coming through the ARPA funds, so it's not coming out of the regular budget line, but the public sector HR was unbudgeted because we found out after the budget was approved last year.
Yep.
So we are taking the money out of the supervisor's conference line.
But truly to reflect the record, we didn't state it was not a budgeted item at the meeting.
I'm pretty sure we had a conversation about it because I think we discussed.
But I guess if we
It
didn't say...
wasn't budgeted. I'm 100% sure I asked Jason if that was budgeted and it wasn't.
But nothing through ARPA funds is budgeted. It comes through a separate pot of money. It doesn't go through the actual budget.
Understood, so should we reference that it's coming out of ARPA funds, or does this board feel like that's not necessary?
I don't think it's necessary because we haven't decided that that's going to be the funding stream.
Okay.
I wouldn't commit us because we didn't commit that night. We talked about how we have several projects, we have several options for funding, and that eventually the cost of engineering will get rolled into whichever funding stream we use. So
Okay.
I'm not comfortable changing the record to say it's not budgeted or that we didn't account for it because we will once we decide the funding stream.
Okay,
That one I
and
just-
what about the public sector? Same thing?
I'm indifferent. I guess if you want to make it state that we didn't budget for it, I just don't know that we said it. So to me, minutes should reflect what we said at the
What we
time.
discussed?
But I'm one vote.
I'm not gonna die on this hill, so it's fine if everyone doesn't think it needs to be put in there.
I think the only thing I do remember saying was that the supervisor, speaking on their behalf, felt she could absorb the costs. I do think I said something along those lines, so if you think that should be in there, that we can absorb this cost this year, that's fine.
Well, again, I'm only one vote. What does everyone else think?
I don't think it's significant.
I don't think it's significant.
Okay.
Correct the typo.
Well, it doesn't even imply that we have to bond for it. That would be
We bond
Correct.
for the Connors Road?
yeah,
No, it's not going through a bond.
that's what I mean, but there's nothing in here that would indicate it's not in the budget. So, I'll let it pass.
Okay. No, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to have a conversation about it and, voice my opinion. I'm fine with letting it go as long as we had a conversation and I hear everyone else's viewpoint. I'm fine.
So can I get all those in favor of adopting the meeting minutes with the changes as noted?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 1 is to approve local law A 2022 regarding the year-long solar moratorium. We had a public hearing, and then county comments came back with no objection to this local law. So at this point, get a motion to approve local law 2022.
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Local law, roll call.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Mr. Halchansky?
Yes.
Mrs. Vanderwater?
Yes.
Ms. Lesniak?
Yes.
Mr. Tupper?
Yes.
Mr. Lozinski?
Yes.
Ms. Saban?
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 2, approve the New York State Retirement Resolution to establish service credit for newly appointed and elected officials, which you have in front of you. It would be the resolutions for the purpose of monthly reporting to the New York State Retirement System. The standard workday and service credit to be reported to the system is as follows. Doug Foster, 20 days per month, 30 days in a month with 3 payrolls. Darcy Lesniak, 3.26 days per month, 4.89 days in a month with 3 payrolls. Michael Chansky, 1.5 days per month, 2.32 days in a month with 3 payrolls. And Michelle Vona, 12.12 days per month, 18.7 days per month with 3 payrolls. Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 3, approve the appointment of Marie Giannone as a temporary codes clerk at the rate of $23.49 per hour. Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll make that.
Second.
Any conversation?
How many hours does she work?
She's working full-time, just as
Full-time.
Jan was, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
she is
think she'd
filling-
have to.
I'm sorry?
I would think she'd have to.
Yeah, she and Casey are working well together, and they are very busy.
I asked because she was formerly part-time.
Marie was part-time when she served as Claude's secretary.
That's right.
Yeah, but the codes clerk is full-time.
And she's happy with that, I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah.
And how long do you think she'll be in the office?
Probably 12, maybe 14 weeks total.
Okay.
So,
And is she in there helping Casey make all the changes and everything, and with the paperwork and all that?
yes, yes, she is. Mhm. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I've got 2 more penciled in. Number 4 is authorize the engineer to put out an RFP for the new pavilion for Van Buren Park, which is part of a state grant. Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll make it.
Second.
We got,
The cost is probably going to be a bid and then an RFP,
okay,
a full bid package.
okay. Can I get a motion with that change from Jason?
I'll make it.
Well, with the change, yeah, okay. We have, this is a grant from, for $100,000 to put in a new park pavilion at the main park. This one was requested to have its own bathroom and storage facilities, more along the line of Pavilion B, which is down in the lower portion of the park. This will be immediately when you come into the park, off to the right-hand side. So the Parks Committee looked at it. Heidi staked out what she was looking for size-wise. So, Mike, did you have any?
Yeah, I would just say that I went in and looked at where they staked it out, and I think it's a great location. The only issue I can possibly see is parking. People might start parking along the main road if we don't provide something for them. So that's just got to be part of it, but the location, I think, is perfect.
When we were up there, we did talk about parking. We, I don't know how many we're able to get up there, and we're gonna have to discuss it more, but at least we're gonna have the handicap accessible. And then there's been times in the park in the past where we would create additional parking near the tennis courts
Right.
down over there. So there is ways to get around it so that does not happen, just like you've mentioned.
Good.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And number 5, set the public hearing for the community development grant application for May 4th at 7:02 PM. Any motion to that, please?
Moved.
Second.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Councilor and committee reports? Darcy?
I have nothing tonight.
Wendy?
I have a couple questions. Where are we with the OCPB exemption agreement?
Oh, county planning board agreement?
You
Yeah.
approved it, right, at the last meeting?
No,
No,
we're
because-
waiting for county to get back with all the comments. But basically, that is the agreement in principle, but it has not yet been signed. They were just getting feedback from everybody, and then once county planning made the final recommendations, then it'll go through.
Okay. And what is the status of the Warner Cemetery agreement that you are working on?
I haven't moved forward with it, I've been out, unfortunately, so.
Okay. And I wanted to let the board know that I attended the Canton Woods Board of Directors meeting last week. It was a very good meeting. The board is now talking quite a bit about spending some money that they have, so it's very interesting to hear that. I did reiterate that they should get used to this concept because Town of Van Buren can't agree to the same amount of costs that they've given Canton Woods continually every year. So they need to get it in their brain that some of the $200,000 they have in savings might need to have to get tapped into for their budget expenses in the next couple of years.
Would you also ask them why they, or when they might start renting out that facility? They used to in the olden days, and then they decided to stop it, but they did get some people renting it, which also would help with the finances over there.
I know they have a policy written on that, on rentals.
Yeah? I mean, I know a couple
So there's
of,
nothing preventing them from doing it
Right.
now.
right,
Possible new revenue stream.
yep.
Or
Yep.
reinvigorated one.
Yep.
Like in the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike wanted to know what the demographic split between folks that come from Lysander, Van Buren, or outside that participate, so I'll get that information to you. And I wanted to thank Jenny Sullivan for attending the board meeting with me. It's nice to have someone come with you and see how exciting it is to attend those board meetings. I think that's it.
Okay. Howard?
I have nothing.
Mike?
I have nothing, thank you.
Ron?
No, nothing.
Okay. A couple of comments. Just so everybody's aware, Senator Mannion will be here at Town Hall in this conference room next Wednesday, the 27th, from 5 to 7 p.m. to meet with any residents that would like to bring any questions, concerns up to him. So feel free to come at that point, 5 to 7 p.m. And also, remember Earth Day is next week, or this weekend, if you might be mentioning that as well. The Earth Day. Sure.
Okay. Yes, this Friday and Saturday are our Earth Day collections. We have more groups signed up in the town of Van Buren than any other year, at least in the past 10 years. So that's very exciting that people are anxious to go out there and help. If it's still not too late, anybody's interested, contact Oprah and they can get you set up and get you nice green stickers to go out and collect some trash, and we'll be accepting it at our highway department at 3417 Walters Road, next to the Jammers Restaurant where the old Quaker Steak and Lube. We will collect from 7 to 3 o'clock on Friday and 8 to noon on Saturday. The only thing that we can't do anymore, unfortunately, is electronics. So we cannot collect electronics, but Sun King has several, I think 2 so far scheduled at the fairgrounds. It'll probably be, there's usually 2 to 4 in the summertime, so keep your eyes open for that. But other than that, we look forward to seeing everybody bringing in all the trash from the roads around the area.
Do you accept small appliances such as heaters or microwaves?
No, those are considered electronics, unfortunately. But yet washers and dryers, if they were from a roadside, which we only ever get that in one spot. It has to be from the registered group. We do not take household trash, residential trash. That is, somebody's got too much in their house, that's not what it's for. It's for the groups that are actually registered under Oprah and coming in with their green stickers off the stuff they picked off the roadside. Unfortunately, the town of Van Buren has one location that is notoriously get dumped with a lot of stuff, and we get anything you can imagine comes out of there. But other than that, it's typical roadside trash that's being brought in.
And last thing I wanted to mention is I received an email today, and this person wanted to compliment both Heidi and Jen for how nicely they were treated at the park, and she was trying to rent a pavilion and was just very complimentary. And she said basically what representatives they are for our town, and she knows that too often people only write when they have a complaint, and she felt that we should know that we have some wonderful people up there. So,
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's too true.
okay. Citizens' comments? Anybody with questions? No? Okay. Jason, anything else?
Other than looking at our Snowdale Park as well. Got a grant for the half basketball court there, and I'm hoping to meet with the contractor early next week. How much that's gonna cost us. And Chris and I are gonna be up there Friday, I believe, laying out the.
Friday, you want to do that?
But,
Okay.
and the half basketball court and the playground, so we can see the size of these features versus the size of the park, and come up with a plan for spacing on that.
I'll get a hold of you what time you want to go up there. I'll go with you.
I think 9:30 is what we said.
Okay.
But-
Sunday come up here.
The only thing we are guaranteed, that we are looking to confirm putting in this year is the half basketball court.
That is-
Okay. Because people have been calling saying that they're hearing we're putting in a playground, but that we're not ready to go that far yet. So it's just
Our
a,
funding source hasn't released that money to us
Right.
yet.
right. Okay. Let's see. Doug, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Nadine?
I have one thing. So during COVID, as we all know, in the state of emergency, the rules regarding video conferencing and calling in for meetings was relaxed. Before COVID and the state of emergency, in order to participate at a meeting, you had to, video conferencing really wasn't contemplated, it was more of just calling in, and if you called in, even if you did do the video conferencing, you had to put notice out at where you were, you had to allow the public to be there, it was a very involved process. Then COVID struck and those rules were relaxed, and the people kind of liked it. Well, for what it's worth, the state of emergency has not yet been lifted, in fact, it's just extended until May 15th. So this is still going on and would still allow, but the legislature apparently heard that people like this, and they have just changed the state's law for open meetings to allow video conferencing. The interesting thing is when you start to see what the new requirements are, it's like they're allowing it so that they can say they did, but the new rules are rather onerous. So it's like they're allowing it because people want it, but they really don't want to let it happen because it's kind of a pain. But I'm bringing it up to all of you because if you want to allow video conferencing for meetings, you have to pass a local law that will allow it. And right now, we still have the state of emergency, so this doesn't necessarily apply. You can do it regardless of passing a local law now because of the state of emergency. But if the governor were to lift the state of emergency on May 16th, then you wouldn't be able to do it any longer. And when they amended Public Officers Law, Section 103A, and I'm sorry I have to read this, but there's a lot to it, but I just want to kind of touch on it to find out what feedback from all of you. The way they've amended the law, a public body is allowed to conduct meetings using video conferencing with certain requirements. Number one, as long as there's still a quorum of the public body physically present at one or more locations where the public can attend in person. So in this case, you guys still have to have a quorum here to allow anybody else to participate. And then you also have to do the following. The town would have to adopt a local law, or an individual public body has to adopt a resolution authorizing the use of video conferencing. Why that's significant, for example, school districts, they don't pass local laws. They would do it by resolution. The way this is also set up, it's interesting because this town board may say, we don't want to allow it, so we're not going to pass a local law. But your planning board may say, it's kind of like a circumvent. Well, we want to allow it, so we'll let it happen for the planning board ZBA meeting, so we'll just pass a resolution for us. So that's why they say it can happen by resolution too. And if the town board though wants to allow it, you can say it's for you. You can say it's for every one of the public bodies that you have that meets. If you do this, you have to adopt written procedures governing member and public attendance that's consistent with the Public Officers Law, and you have to conspicuously post these procedures on your website. To actually use video conferencing, members of the public body have to be physically present, at a location where the public can attend, and the only way that you could use video, like one of you could use video conferencing, is if you are unable to be physically present due to an extraordinary circumstance. And they give examples of that. So like you're hurt. Apparently if you want to do it from the hospital bed. Or you have a loved one that's sick and you want to be there for them and you can't, something like that. Members of the public body do not have a right to attend the meetings remotely, but they may participate via the video conferencing only at the discretion of the public body. There's other rules. The minutes of the meeting have to, if you're going to allow it, your minutes have to reflect it. There has to be, there's a notice that now the local law, or excuse me, that the state statute says that your meeting has to, or your notice has to include. There's very specific language. You have to, when you have to record the video, if it's allowed by video, and you have to have it available on your website for up to 5 years. And if somebody asks for a transcript upon request, you'd have to give it to them. So I'm throwing all this out there because if you want to do this after June 8th, you need to, it's kind of tricky. If you want to do it right on June 9th, then you need to pass a local law before June 8th allowing it. You can pass it anytime after that, but after June 8th, allowing video conferencing will not be permitted unless you've adopted this local law. Follow me on that? It's a little convoluted.
So you have to act, if you want to allow it, before June 8th?
Before June 8th, like whenever the, if the state of emergency is lifted,
Right.
you can, if it's lifted May 16th, and between the 16th of May and the 8th of June, you want to be able to do this, you'd have to adopt this local law. You can, it's not like the opt-out where you have to do it by a certain date. You can do it anytime after that. Just recognize, until that local law is adopted and passed and filed with the state, you won't be able to do it. I'm just bringing this to your attention. I don't know if this is anything that this board wants. I want to make sure that you have the option to do it if you so choose. I'm not sure that you, I still have municipalities, because of the state of emergency, that as a matter of course are doing every single meeting with a virtual element to it.
Well, I know that a lot of residents like that feature because it's so much more convenient. They can attend the meeting through the comfort of their own home, and I think we were getting a lot more participation from the residents being that that was an offer for them, an option. But I don't know, if it was something we were gonna continue to do, wouldn't we have to set up like a whole big software program and everything that
Yeah, what we did
is
in the
not
beginning.
expensed?
Yeah, what we had in the beginning for Zoom, Jason, generally you manned it to take comments or questions.
I got complaints for it too.
It's a thankless job.
It sure was.
But we know we would have to get different equipment. The camera that we were using really wasn't working well. We'd have to get more microphones in to handle it.
I mean, I definitely feel like that's the way meetings are moving toward in this techie world that we have and people working from home and all that kind of stuff. And I would like to see it as an option for our residents. I do think it would continue to have more attraction for our residents if they had that ability.
So you've got two kind of different things in play though, because we're debating this at the county on whether or not we're gonna do it. You've got live streaming, which is where you just offer, if we didn't have this option, you
Right.
could have someone record the meeting and it's available, but it doesn't have a component of public participation. Whereas we'll just do Zoom for the platform for this sake. If it's a hybrid version we adopt, stop me if I'm wrong, please. If we adopt the hybrid version, again, the number one reason why I'm not sure it works for us anyways, because you still have to have a quorum. So if we've already got 4 of us here, you know, the fact that we don't, we'll get there in a second, but, so then it's being able to participate. So you can have public comment on the Zoom, you can have, versus someone just live streaming and watching.
Right.
Watch, which we could do regardless.
Right.
Right, same concept.
Oh, no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you need any help with anything like that, I can help out with any live streaming equipment and videoing, editing, anything like that.
Yeah, that's something we could totally debate whether or not, that has nothing to do with establishing a local law or anything like that. You know, and then at the county, we're also debating whether or not we're going to, how stringent it will be. So is it so-and-so is sick today versus so-and-so had a planned vacation?
That's not allowed.
So-
See, if they've been debating this for a little while, this came out like the 9th or 10th of April. And so now, I have one board where 2 members of the board winter in Florida. So they loved this because they've gone to Florida in the months of January, February, and March, and April, they just participate remotely. This is that's not allowed because it has to be an extraordinary circumstance. It's not like I'm on the, you know.
Yeah, that's just convenience.
Yeah, it still has to be an extraordinary, what's the term? Hold on. Physically present due to extraordinary circumstances, which include disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities, or any other significant or unexpected factor or event which precludes the member's physical attendance at such meeting. Unexpected vacay may not be.
So if it were to live stream, it would live stream on our website. So,
Probably through Facebook.
Yeah.
so then we have the 2 options. Do we want to allow just the live streaming or do we want the ability for the public to, you know, have comments? Maybe we start with live streaming since this gentleman will help us with it and we have kind of the platform to do that. And then maybe we take baby steps into this new tech world and see, you know, what feedback we get from the residents.
But then also you would have, if all 7 of us are here, then there's no need for a public participation component. You know, it's really if you've got a member that's going to be missing. So, I mean, that's where I'm like, it just doesn't even make sense for me at the county level, to be honest.
I like the live streaming, so
Yeah, that's totally separate. That's, you know, offering the ability to watch, you know, the proceedings is one thing, but the participation side of it, I'm not trying to thwart public participation in any way, though. I mean, it's just that.
well, what about like citizen comments when we get to that part of the board meeting?
That's the thing that would have to be a policy, you know, we'd have to establish. Are we going to allow citizens' comments via Zoom? if we do this. I
Right.
mean,
So, I know everyone probably wants to go home, but not to belabor this, but when we did do Zoom, wasn't it just a matter of like getting a Zoom account? Jenny, you probably know. Isn't it just a matter of doing a Zoom account and logging in and people, putting out
We have one for the town, yeah.
Lynn put out the email address and the code that you call in. So isn't that really not expensive to do it that way?
I don't know if it's a one-time fee we paid or if we're paying.
Jenny, is it
We pay a monthly fee.
17? 15?
Well, it depends on how long you go as well. So there's
Well, you have that, but you also have the equipment, like, again, the municipality I have with my 2 snowbirds, because they were doing that, that municipality put in a, what is it, like a 72-inch screen in the room so that they could capture,
Like everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the sound system to accompany that. And then you'd have to address whether you let public hearings participate.
Go that way, yeah.
Or just public comments, which there's a distinction.
Correct.
So. but it's-
I like the idea.
It's nothing that needs to be acted on now. I
Right.
just wanted to throw it out there and put it on your radar, let you
Mhm.
guys think about it. And let me know what your thoughts are, if any.
Okay.
One thing we
So-
did do was, is we muted everybody and they had to type in their.
Yes.
comments. So we
Yep.
didn't have a million people talking to us at once.
Right.
Which was better, but it was cumbersome to document all of those comments as well. Keep up with, the back and forth banter.
Right.
So Nadine, how would that be registered in the minutes? If people are making comment, questions back and forth, how would that, Lynn, how would you get that into the minutes?
Publish the video.
Well, you have to publish the video anyways,
Okay,
because that's part of what the law says. If you're going to allow video conferencing, the entire thing has to be recorded and available for 5 years on your website. So that's one of the obligations. I have no idea. I'm not sure they fleshed out how minutes are going to reflect that. I do know that in some of our municipalities, the comments, it became somewhat problematic because, you have a period for comment, right? Well, until you're sitting at home and you're just like firing off these other little comments and
Right.
it's like little sniper shots
Right.
throughout the meeting. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that, and maybe it would be interesting to see how other municipalities handle it
Mhm.
and take a look at what they do and see if it's something that, this municipality does it really well, we like what they've done, or not. I don't know.
I think Jason's job description just grew. You did so well with it before.
well, the other thing, we would definitely have to get better equipment, more microphones, and especially cameras. And they're not cheap, so it would have to go into next year's budget to get that
Definitely,
stuff.
yeah.
But we should get somebody in with a video and knowing the audio system as well.
The least expensive way that you could actually do this is I can hook this camera up, so it would be video in the whole room, connected to the sound system, getting all of your microphones, and have one person set up having the comments, and you can delay each person so they can only comment every couple minutes or by 1 minute, so they're not just shooting as many as they can, and that makes it so like they don't pile up. And it'll give you a notification for each comment, so if there'll be one person on the comments, and that could be me if you want, telling you whenever a comment comes in.
I like this guy.
Can we make it where even at present, we can't make more than one comment every time? That's an awesome tool.
I'm looking at the county executive when he did all of his. And when you look at the comments, they're thumbs up and hearts and smiley faces and, Mike here from Baldwinsville and all that stuff. And now we're gonna have to put all that in minutes. We're gonna have to keep a record of all that stuff for 5 years, keep a recording of it. It just seems like it's a little bit too extreme.
Probably for our level of government.
Yeah.
Can I offer something?
Yes, please.
We're.
Can you take the microphone, state your name and address, please?
So our Board of Education is still virtual. They just liked it better than from home because they have a couple older members and it's just easier for them. And I'm not saying that you have to do it on a YouTube channel, but they do it live stream, like Wendy suggested. And they post the agenda, and if people have something that they want to address from that agenda, they send the email, but they have to send it to the secretary. And someone addresses it.
Doesn't check our email very often, so that's fine.
Sorry. So then someone addresses it, but that way those problems are addressed ahead of time, that it's not something that comes up from the conversation, like they know what you're going to talk about.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
And then you just speak out at it.
So maybe when we come to citizen comments on the
Yeah, say
agenda, we can say,
so-and-so, yeah.
okay, and for, emails that came in.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily interactive live time.
right, but it's thought about ahead of time, not, they're sitting there having their popcorn and.
Got it.
I don't think that there's going to be that many comments on the regular meetings. I think that the one that Jason had was based upon circumstance with the development and how many people had questions and were concerned about their.
Yeah, we had some pretty big public hearings on Zoom.
Yeah. Hearings will be where you're going to get most of the comments, I think.
Right. Okay.
There
Good,
was
good
a lot, too,
interaction,
with the
guys.
Property maintenance, there was a lot of hot button things going on there where really, there's not a lot that, well, it's important, but that seemed to spark interest in the town people.
I think we can take a look at it over the next couple of months and see how we want to proceed.
Sure. Sounds good.
Anyone have anything else? Okay, if not, motion to adjourn to the next regular town board meeting on May 4th at 7 PM.
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. See you then.
Always been moved the adjournment.
Yeah.